Hello everybody. I want the title of this video to be Should You Eat Breakfast or Not? Pros and Cons. But I think the YouTube system limits the title to 100 characters, including spaces. So I don't know if I'll have enough space for that, but I'll put something in there that's similar, maybe shortened if necessary. But anyway, so the reason, the inspiration for this video came from looking back, and there was a time in my middle 20s when I was racing a lot of road races, and I was pretty much in that time range at my fastest. And because I had some other things that came up in my life school really, that I dedicated myself to. But one thing I noticed one day, one race, it was a 10K race, so 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles approximately. And I didn't have time or something, I didn't have the food or something to eat a breakfast before the start of the race. And, you know, I generally would eat a small breakfast before a race. But in this case, I didn't, but I had water, and that's all I had before the race was water that morning. Races are really usually pretty early in the morning, like 8 a.m. or whatever time, they can be 8:30 or 9, depending on different things. But whatever the case, I just ran the race with just, water, and I set a PR, which is a personal record. It was actually this one, I believe it was, I ran it in 37 minutes and 58 seconds. So I beat 38 minutes, and I beaten my previous PR by, I think, exactly a minute and a half. I think my previous PR at that time was 39:28. So I was really excited about that. And I thought, wow, maybe this is really something. I always thought I needed a breakfast, but apparently I didn't. And in fact, the thought I began to have was that it was making me more efficient not eating a breakfast. Like because I didn't have breakfast, my food didn't have to digest anything and push any newly digested food particles around in my circulatory system and my blood and all that. It was just like pure stored nutrition in my body, the nutrition that's stored in your body fat and your muscles and so on. So I thought, wow, well, my body must have been a lot more efficient. It didn't have to run with a breakfast in me. And then I really took that to heart in the years following, or in that time range. I was training. I was running my run of the day, my first run or whatever, without a breakfast either. And I thought, it works out really well. My workouts are going really well. I'm running distance really fast and efficiently. And I think I really did that for a long time, like off and on. I would go just eat a meal before I went to bed, and then get up and have my water and go out and run. But then later I would eat a small meal before running, and I think often before a race. So, it just depends, it's just up to you. But some of the things that go into this, whether you're going to eat a breakfast or not, are thinking about like how active you're going to be physically in the hours after the time that you would eat a breakfast. Because there's certain things, like if you're working a whole day at work and it's a strenuous job, or I can give you an example when I definitely would advocate eating a breakfast for my own self, at least. And that is like on a big long bike trip that's like a week and a half long. Like you're cycling maybe up to 85 miles a day, maybe with a tent on your bicycle, like bicycle camping. And in that case, if you have the food available and the time to eat it, you definitely should eat a breakfast, something at the start of your day before you start cycling for the whole day. And of course, eat throughout the day, because you're really going to be burning a lot of energy. So that's just another example of where you would eat breakfast. But another question you might be interested in maybe asking me, if you could, is, am I eating a breakfast these days? And the answer is no, I'm actually not. But it might be better for me to do so, which is why I'm making this video. But I'm not eating a breakfast, but I am having some juice and some mixed oils. So I have a mixture of soybean, canola, and sunflower oils. The reason I take in the oils is for different reasons. One is so my skin won't get too dry, but it also makes my feet more comfortable, because I work on my feet, and I don't sit on any of my breaks either at work. I'm standing on my 2 15-minute breaks, and my 1 hour lunch break. So I'm on my feet for the workday. And, but another thing you might want to say, well, I just said I drink juice, and I've covered this in some earlier videos. Like I was drinking pineapple juice and orange juice, kind of going back and forth. And right now I'm drinking orange juice. But one thing I found out that's really good before a workout is orange juice mixed with some tomato juice. Now that's going to give you some salt in your diet. So that's why I'm not really doing that much. But aside from that, that's a really high energy drink. It just really gives me a lot of adrenaline and improves the quality of my workout. But anyway, the other day before work, I had a breakfast. And another reason that you should eat a breakfast is if you don't have time to eat a dinner, or if you're just too full to eat a dinner. Sometimes I have the time and I have the energy to prepare my food, but I'm just too full. I just can't eat a dinner. So then you would just go to bed on an empty stomach. Well, your stomach is obviously full, right? But you would go to bed without eating dinner, and then you would wake up and have a breakfast instead. But another reason you might not have a dinner is because you just don't have the energy or the time. You just need to hurry up and rest. You don't have the time or the energy to make a meal or get your meal together ready. You don't have something ready to eat. But so if you don't eat dinner, that's a reason to eat breakfast. And the time you save by not eating dinner will give you a little extra time in the morning. You'll still get the same number of hours of sleep, and then you'll get that breakfast ready and eat it. And hopefully, time-wise, you'll come out all right on your schedule before you go into work or whatever you're doing. But another funny thought is I tend to sleep much better if I don't eat dinner at all, or if I eat a really small one. There's another thing you could try doing is eating a small dinner and then a very small breakfast. So that's another possibility. I did try that, but if I eat any dinner at all, then when I wake up, I don't really feel like eating breakfast. I have no appetite for a breakfast anyway. But I just need to hurry and get on my workout. But I do think that if I did eat a breakfast, either before or after my workout, that my work day would probably go a lot better. So these are some of these things to think about, like what's going to work out. And I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. As long as you're getting in good workouts like I am, and, you know what you're doing and you're eating nutritious, safe, healthy food, it's probably going to be all right. Whether you eat a breakfast or not, you can make it up like have a good lunch or whatever. And also the term breakfast, I mean, that's a funny term. To me, it means the first meal of your day. So, for example, there are people who work third shift. So this is when you would come in at, say, 11 p.m. or midnight and worked until 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. You know what I'm talking about? So these people, their breakfast might be at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something, and they are eating a breakfast later, probably much later than other people would even be eating a dinner. And then some people have to start their work at 7 o'clock in the morning or something, so then their breakfast might be really early if they're going to have one at all. But so the term breakfast, like for me, I work a second shift, so my breakfast is probably about lunchtime for other people, if I were even having one, but I don't even have a breakfast. Like I said, I have the juice and the oils usually, and I probably won't have time for a breakfast tomorrow because I'm planning to eat a dinner tonight, and I'm sure I'll be full when I wake up. Dinner meaning what I eat before I go to bed. But anyway, so it's something to think about, but there's probably some benefit in eating a breakfast, depending on if you're going to be active, physically active for a long time. You might want to eat a breakfast to get a start on your day. But I'm just saying, like, I don't really. I just have the juice and the oils, or I have been mostly, although I could be having one if I didn't eat a dinner at all, and then I would have an appetite and more time. But another thing, though, when I was talking about, like, if you don't eat a dinner, then you will sleep really well. I mean, I found that true for me anyway. But another thing that helps me sleep really well is getting in a really good workout before I go to bed. So having my workout really late, which I just did, by the way. I just got in a workout a little while ago, so I assume I'll sleep really pretty well tonight. And by the way, it's around 2 o'clock in the morning, so about 2 hours after midnight, early Saturday. It's the 14th of June. But basically, you could have a breakfast if you want, but you don't have to. It's just something to think about. There's pros and cons to each approach to your, nutritional intake. Anyway, hope you enjoy it, and hope you're all taking really good care of yourself, and have a super great time. Thank you so much.